Hello and welcome back to Arcadia, everybody, and I'm sure you saw by the title and presumably length of this video, but we are doing something absolutely crazy today. Oh yes, we are going absolutely mega here. We are making a fully redstone working, all that goodness, roguelike game boss rush. And you know, one of my favorite types of games is these roguelike, like deck builder roguelikes are so fun. Slay the Spire, one of my favorite games, and I really want to try to bring that into Minecraft. Now obviously to do that, that takes a whole lot of work and it's going to be absolutely gigantic. So for this video, I'm hoping to sort of go through some of my thought process as I'm putting this together and see what works, what doesn't work, and hopefully that's a good blueprint for you. And hopefully by the end of this video, we have a working game. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Well, I suppose to start things off, we should probably head over to my redstone world where I have already begun a little bit of tinkering and thinking about how to do this. So let's go check it out. Well, here we are in Redstone land with gadgets and gizmos galore. But what we want to look at is how to start thinking about making a game and how to start planning a project like that in Redstone. And my first suggestion here would be think about the parts of your game that you want to do first. On pieces of paper, write out what you want to accomplish and how your game works. For instance, the game that I want to make is a roguelike boss rush, which means that there's two main actors. There's a player and a boss at any time. And there's also a deck of cards that we have to constantly shuffle and draw from and that sort of thing. Thinking about those types of processes that you need first becomes super helpful. Then from there, I would recommend you start drawing stuff out. Now behind me, you see a loose sketch of things that I need to do to accomplish my game. Now yours is going to look completely different. That's part of the thing. Also, something I recommend is not doing this in Minecraft. The reason I'm doing it in Minecraft is because it makes it easier for all of you to see what I'm talking about when it's right here on screen. In real life, I'd recommend doing this on a piece of paper. In fact, I did this on paper first before translating it into Minecraft. Once you have something like that sketched out, you can start thinking about each component individually. For instance, all of these devices behind me are, well, displays. Look at that. If we come over to this machine and input a 4 by flicking this lever, we'll see this display switch up to a 4 right away. Now this here is actually two machines. There is a device down here which converts a number from binary into a number that this machine, the 7-segment display up here, can recognize. Now I'm not going to go into detail because that's going to bore the majority of you, but I'll put links in the description to this person. They are Matt Batwings and they have a great series on doing some of these redstone machines, so be sure to check them out. I used a lot of his machines for this project. Now over here we have one other machine, which this can act as a memory bank. So you can imagine this is a memory bank with some number. So for instance, let's put in, I don't know, let's put in 100. And if we press this button, we're going to send it to the display and we should see a 100 pop up. And sure enough, 100 is right there. So it comes in super handy to be able to break down a big project into these little components. Because look, we already have a display done. Now we just need 2 of them, of course, but it's getting there, right? Something else I've begun tackling as well is this deck component. And over here, there are a couple machines in a row that tackle this sort of situation. So I'm not going to go into every detail about how this thing works, but essentially this thing takes a deck of cards that we have, 27, and when you input it in here, it splits the output into the valid cards you can have, which in this case is all of them. As you draw cards using this button here, it will play cards for you and then reshuffle the deck when you run out. So this machine essentially simulates playing a card game, drawing cards, putting them in the discard pile, reshuffling your cards, that whole thing. So now that we have this is basically one of our red boxes over there. So from there, we got to figure out how to hook them up to other things, right? And that's where stuff starts becoming tricky. So I figure we might as well show off some of these cards. So to start out with, everyone is going to get a deck of cards, and I'm still playing with the numbers on these, but there will only be 2 types of cards in a starter deck: attack and defend. Pretty simple. Deal 5 damage, prevent 5 damage. Very simple. Now common cards are where things start getting more interesting. For instance, Agile Strike. Not only do you deal 5 damage, but you also get to draw an extra card. And if you play card games, you know how powerful drawing more cards is to hopefully get the cards that you want, right? Here we have another one, Iron Wall, block 10 damage, twice as strong as a normal defend. And then here's 2 more, Risky Moves. You discard all of the cards in your hand, and then you draw that many cards back out. Potentially very powerful if you need an attack to try to finish off a boss. Then here we have Power, +2 damage to future cards. Exhaust this card. Now, I'm not sure what to call this. In Slay the Spire, this is called Exhaust. In other games, it's called different things, but the concept is this card is removed from play until the end of the game. So you can think of it as a one-time use card. Now, for the last 2, for the rare cards, we have question marks. Who knows? You're gonna have to find out either by watching me or from other Arcadians. Maybe they discover these rare cards on their own. Something card games have as well is a system that limits how many cards a player can play each turn. So for instance, in Slay the Spire, this is energy. In Magic, this is called land. And we need a system like that too, because we can't just let the player play all 5 cards every single time. I mean, what's the point of that? Then you might as well just make a whole game automated, right? So we will be implementing a system where each card behind me has a certain amount of energy required to play them. For instance, attack here may only cost 1 energy, but something stronger, for instance, one of these rare cards might cost 2 or 3. Or some of them may even cost 0. It just depends on, you know, balance and things like that, which is a little bit difficult to get into for a topic of this video. So you're just gonna have to trust me on that. I've worked a little bit on our card drawing machine over here based on some of the cards that we have over there. For instance, you can draw extra cards, you can burn a card, you can shuffle the deck of cards, and I just want to show you. So for instance, maybe in my deck of cards right now, I have a card that wants to draw an additional card after I play it. But right now in my discard pile, I have 10 cards, while the draw pile has 6. So maybe there's something we can do about that, and that comes with the power of shuffling your deck. So actually I haven't tested this, so hopefully it works. We go ahead and shuffle our deck. We should see these cards draining, which we don't, which means I broke something. Oh, whoops, just a slight rail miscount. So when I break this observer, we should see it start going. Check it out, we have cards draining through here, and we're gonna get all the cards back in our deck. There should be 16. And now we can go ahead and play that draw card button. So here we go, let's click it, and we should get 1 additional card here in our discard pile in just a sec. Boop, there it is, 1 more card. Now, obviously cards wouldn't go straight from your draw pile to your discard pile, but as you can see behind me, there is no way to store a player's hand or process what cards are being played yet. Right now, this is just drawing cards. This is just for testing. I hooked up the displays entirely to all of the logic units. So these things down below are what handle dealing damage to each other. And up here is what displays the health. But oh wait, there's more. I've been doing a lot of work in the meantime. Yes, off in the distance over there, that mess is the full game. It is all, I'm still working on it. One thing that is super important when working on these projects is to write down a checklist of things you need to do so you do not forget. This is things like damage system, block system, card drawing system, mana system, things like that. Because let me tell you, I have already forgot things and it has not been nice. One of those things I forgot is down here, which is the mana system. And basically the mana system is the thing that limits how many cards a player can play per turn. Now there's ways to gain mana each turn, there's ways to gain mana during that specific turn, but that has yet to be done. I did come up with something very clever though. Each one of these droppers corresponds to 1 card. So for instance, this slice right here is Big Bonk, which is a 3-cost mana card. So this dropper will be full of a filter item for 3 mana. So that is this. And all that happens is when the card plays, this will eject the 3 mana cost, and this will get pulsed 3 times. That has to get deducted from the player's current mana. and it has to get reset each turn and blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of stuff for me to do, okay? But let me show you something else I'm super excited about. Down here, we have counting systems. So these are programmed cards. For instance, here is stab. When this gets a signal, it comes through here and this gets hit 5 times, doing 5 damage to the boss. This system is basically very easy to configure. You put how much damage you want to do up here, and then when it gets a signal, this goes back and forth 5 times and pulses this out 5 times. And that lets you do 5 damage. It's super clever. Here, actually, why don't I just run it? Stabby stab. All right, I put an note block down and here it goes. You should hear it 5 times. Look at that, 5 damage. So it's actually super easy to just copy paste that down a lot of these systems. And then some of them are different. For instance, this one, sparring practice, you do 7 damage, I believe. Yeah, 7. And then this comes out once and you gain 1 strength. This is gain 1 strength. And yeah, as you can tell, the bus lines are getting kind of crazy down here. I am almost out of wool colors. And if that happens, we're going to iron, gold, and emeralds. But that's not all. Up here, we have our main platform. So this is where you will sit to play the game. Obviously, decoration pending, but we have this really easy interface. All you got to do is put the deck of cards in here, and then the cards you have in your draw pile will show up in here. And then when you want to play them, you just put them in the red box to play the cards. It's super simple. Here we go. Here comes some cards. All right, let's see. What did we get? We drew Agile Strike, Defend, Burning Draw, and Big Bonk. Big Bonk's the one that does a lot of damage. But why don't we play Agile Strike? I'll show you how this works. All you got to do is you play it in here and off it goes on its merry way. Let's see if we can see it down there. Should be falling down in just a second. Boop, there it is. It's gonna go and get played in just a second. There it is, stuff's going on. But we should see this thing getting damaged in just a couple of seconds. She'll go down to 43. 45. Maybe it's supposed to do 5 damage. Hold on, let me consult my spreadsheet. Oh yes, spreadsheets never lie, but memory does. Sometimes you forget things, especially when you program so many cards. It is working perfectly. But you heard another ding, which means we drew another card and we drew another Agile Strike. Look at that. But why don't we go ahead and play a Big Bonk? Watching this go down is super fun. Look at that go down. Isn't that funny? It's sort of like a ticker. It's slowly going down, and this should be a 15, I believe, at the end. But this going down like this is sort of just a side effect of how the redstone works, and it's slow to go down, but it makes this really cool effect where it's sort of like a health bar draining. And sure enough, 15 working entirely as intended. And then the last thing you do is, here is our draw pile. When you're done with your turn, you hit this button and away your cards go. Goodbye, cards. Now, of course, at this point in the game, it would be the boss's turn, but yeah, it's not hooked up to anything right now. Let's just pass the turn back. That's one of the things I still have yet to do. That's gonna take a lot of time. Anyways, I have some more cards to program, a couple more systems to make, and of course that boss system to do. So why don't I go get cracking on that? But I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. We are getting very, very close. We are back here on Arcadia, and I have a little bit of planning left to do for the redstone, and I have to finalize the Reimagined schematics, all that good stuff. But I think I'm gonna start getting prepped over here for where I want to build it, which is right inside this mountain. And if I go ahead and turn on this rough schematic that I have, yeah, it sort of sticks just out of here. Actually, maybe you can see, yeah, the scoreboard is right here. So the playing field is right here in this mountain. But if we go inside of here, yeah, that's a lot to dig out. So I have a little bit of trimming to do here on the schematic, so I'm not digging out such a big hole. But in the meantime, what I want to do is set up a little dig sort sorter right here, which basically lets you it loads itself while you are digging this thing, so you don't have to keep flying back to your storage room that might be unloaded. Because let me tell you, that thing you have to dig out, it's like 6.5 double chests of shulker boxes of stone. alone. It's ridiculous. Oh, hey, zombie. Yeah, so there is quite a bit of resources in there, and setting up a dig sort like this will help a lot. So I'm gonna go set up one of those right here really quick. It shouldn't take too long. It's just a little thing, but it helps quite a bit. And these zombies, there's their spawner in here. Ow! Nope, just a hole. So this storage design was lifted from the Storage Tech Discord, and I believe Command Leo was the one who designed this, but there's a whole list of available storage systems you can use from the Discord. They have a great resource. Well, the dig sort is done, and I went a little overkill, to be honest, doing all of this terraform. Oh, wait. This is a dig sort I mentioned in the video. This is by Command Leo, but there is a whole bunch of stuff in here. So basically everything here will be shulker loaded. So while you're digging, there'll be shulker boxes of stone in these two. And then over here, this is just loose items. So we'll get them. What is that? Copper, gold, redstone, all that sort of stuff will be over here. And then everything you need for digging is here. We got picks, we got the rockets, we got cooked pork chops here galore, ready to go. Oh, and of course, if I get help from people, which I definitely will, come on, who am I kidding? It's very simple for them to use. All they got to do is just come throw stuff in here. Although I suppose this should say empty shulker boxes so people don't get confused. Speaking of being confused, I was very confused about how this thing works. Also, ignore that chest monster back there. But this is basically just a universal item input. So I have a bunch of boxes here. We got the bunch of mixed stuff in here, gravel, blah, 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 a whole bunch of things. Maybe you dug up some ores in here, but it's super simple to use. All you got to do is come in here and you throw the items in, and then you can throw in some loose items as well if you would like. And it basically, here, let me turn on some hitboxes. It shoots them all into these streams, and as you can see, there's just items flowing out of here, and they will eventually get all sorted out into their, look at that, they're emptying all the shulker boxes for at the same time. So yeah, they will eventually all get emptied out into these locations, and you can tell if items don't get picked up right away, they will wrap around forever and ever until they finally get picked up. And if stuff can't be sorted, what should happen is you'll see them get sucked up into this hopper down here. So there was one, we just got some ore down there, but why don't I go show you? Oh yes, also this is the cliff side all done. We got 2-tier cliffs there and it looks pretty nice, but we should have some extra stuff in here. So some gravel, so things can't quite keep up there if they're going a little too fast, but here's some bonus stuff. We got some coal coming out of here. We should get some, yeah, some iron ore down there too. So it's very, very good, and it's super simple for people to use if they come and help out. Just throw everything in the chest and forget about it. Well, that is quite the sizable hole, and yes, thinks that silver here is helping me out right now. I've gotten quite a bit of help digging this out. This would not have gone as fast if the Arcadians have been stepping up digging. But there is quite a bit of stuff in here. I mean, check out how much coal ore we have. It's, yeah, only about halfway done, by the way. But I have some very cool stuff to show you, so let's go check it out. All right, are you ready for the big reveal? The game is almost done. It is not quite there. There's some more cards for me to program, and I want to add some audio. So right now there's no audio for any of the cards. Look, obviously you have to design and implement the cards first, or at least know what you are going to implement before you start making audio discs for them, because nothing's worse than wasted work, am I right? But anyway, we have a lot more indicators up here. I don't believe I've shown these. We have indicators for block, we have indicators for strength, we got indicators for how much mana the player has, we've got which level of the boss you are in, starting off with a sheep, cow, zombie, skeleton. You get the point here. So this is all the same directly in front of me, but we have a couple more things. One, you can forfeit the run here with this button if you want. The other thing that has changed is this will be a background music system. So there will be a little bit of a randomizer clock going on over here with a couple different discs in here with some ambient music. And look, we record stuff for content here, so maybe people don't want to have it on, they want to use their own music, so there's not weird cuts in the music. So this is available to turn on or off if people want, and hopefully that adds a little bit of atmosphere, right? Games have background audio, right? Usually. A lot of times I turn it off though. What about you? And then over here we have our rewards and deck return. The rewards here are basically going to be how I do the metagame, right? How you craft your deck to be able to go further. And I'm still debating on how to do that, but I know at least it needs to show up here first. And then from there will be a shop sort of system. I'm debating if there's a gotcha system for how you get new cards, or if you have to, I don't know, get good luck on random rolls the further you go. I'm still thinking about it, hence why there's nothing hooked up there yet. But I did finish some of the other systems I promised I would. For instance, this is the mana system, which controls how much mana you have to play cards that turn, how much mana you get per turn. Maybe you play a card that allows you to get more, and resetting it between bosses, that sort of stuff. And then over here is a couple of interesting things. So this is how you set boss health, and I mentioned before we're just using bits. So for instance, this is the first boss, 1 + 8 + 16, that is 25. Then the final boss, the Ravager here, is a little bit more complicated. You got 64, 16, 8, 32, 4, 124, quite a bit of health on that boy. He's a chonky lad. And then paired up right next to it is this system, which deals with the damage, which is actually super clever. So based on how strong this thing is, actually let me turn it on. You get this minecart going off to set the health. Goodbye minecart. But based on how strong this is, so right now this is a 1, that indicates how many of these droppers will go off. And these droppers are your damage rolls. So for instance, the first mob you need to get up front does quite a bit of damage, 6s, 7s, 8s, and 9s. But once you start getting to like level 4, each one of these droppers goes off. It's cumulative. So you get 1 damage roll from this, you get another damage roll from this, which is 2s and 3s, another one from this, 2s and 3s, and another one from this, 1s and 3s. And then all of that gets added together in this line and goes up to the damage, how much damage the boss does to you. I think it's a pretty clever system, if I do say so myself, and it allows you to scale up based on previous bosses, so it directly impacts the leveling curve. It's quite smart. And as you can tell over here, we are on a level 1 because I hit the button down there. But you know what? Why don't we try playing a game? The very first game on camera. Oh my god, I'm so excited. All right, so this is the deck I will be running. We've got some agile strike, some damage, and some card draw. We got some defense. We got some enchanted weapon to give us some power scaling for later in the game. Sparring practice, again, more power scaling, and then burning draw, some more draw. So why don't we try it out with this? Get out of here. Why don't we try it out with this deck? Like I said, all you got to do is put it in here and it will take care of itself. Oh, look at that. So the display from this angle has changed a little bit. We have 2 light indicators in here. And these also, block and strength, both of these are binary, which if you're a computer nerd, you know what I'm talking about. But basically, it's counting. So this is a 3. This is 1 + 2 is 3. So I've got 3 mana to play. All right, let's see about cards. What do we want? So it'd be nice if, enchanted weapon first to play. That's super good. Just 2 strength. And then sparring practice right here. This will give us even more strength. So why don't we go ahead and play these 2? You can just plop them in and it'll pass them out into the card queue. And they will go down there and play one after another. There's quite a bit of stuff in the way down here. They will go down there one after another and play. And we should see some strength going up and some damage going down. All right, there we go. And as you can tell, we are out of mana. And we got 3 strength, so now I can just go ahead and pass the turn. That will go and drain all these cards in just a second. And we're gonna get hit with some damage here. I didn't play any block. As you can tell, the lights are not lit up. Block goes away after every time the boss does damage. There's no way to keep block there. Strength will stay here until the next boss. So check it out. We got hit by 6. That's quite a bit. It's a pretty high roll for the first boss. All right, let's see. We got some cards coming in. Round 2, baby. Let's take this sheep out. All right, so I got 2 agile strike, which is deal 5 damage and draw 1 card. Now I also have strength, and the way strength works is each time you play a card that deals damage, that strength gets added to the damage. So for instance, this agile strike, which normally does 5, that just turned into 8 damage. So when I do 8 damage twice to this thing, we should end up with 2 damage left. Let's find out. Oh, and we're gonna get 2 cards back. Agile Strike is so nice. Boom, boom, bam, bam, boom. Ooh, ooh. All right, well, let's see. We have one more card coming in. Ooh, Agile Strike. We can just finish this thing off. Why don't we go ahead and do that? And then we're going to be on to round 2, baby. We're going to fight a cow next. Mr. Lord, please don't hate me. I know you love cows. So this is the part of the game that I need to sort of address right now. When you play a card, there's not a lot of immediate reaction, right? It takes a while for your cards to go from here all the way down through into here, get played, and then process all that playing, and then for a result to show up. So I definitely need some sound effects to fill that in, which is part of what I'm hoping to do later, is add some sound effects for, oh, you played a card, here is the card that just played, we're gonna call it out, all that sort of stuff. All right, well, we should have one, but apparently I was doing some editing over here and forgot to put that rail back, so let's just manually trigger that really quick there. And we're on to boss number 2, baby. So as you can tell, we are on boss number 2, and 18 is not their health. It's actually loading right now. It takes a while. I'm trying to think of ways to make that go quicker, because your cards show up before you know how much damage the boss does, which is not the best, you know. But as you can tell, strength resets between rounds. That is how it should work. And up here we have, oh, that's a bug. It just ended my turn. Well, apparently we are not bug-free yet. Let me go check the old wrenches and corkscrews. Corkscrews? You don't corkscrew to fix it. Anyway, let me go look at that. Okay, I may have fixed it, but now we are on level 6, the Guardian, and it's going to be kind of difficult. Let's see what we can do here. So for sure, we want to play Quick Thinking. That gives us 5 block over there, and then we're going to draw 2 cards. Let's see what we can do. Check it out, 5 block. And we should have gotten 2 cards. Let's see. Oh, not much good stuff here. We're going to try to do another stabby, and I guess we'll just do a defend. I don't want to cycle my deck because I know I still have stuff in there. So let's do a stab and defend. And then we'll have to pass the turn after those 2 are done. All right, 47. We got no mana left. We got 10 block. Look at that. Let's give this a pass. And I want to show you the damage system I was talking about. Let me fly down here. Look at that. That's not good. That's a lot of damage right off the bat. But you can tell this fires multiple times, and all of this is getting added together. So that was like 7 plus 2 plus 3. Oh god, that's 12 damage already. There's still a couple more. Another 3, 16. Oh, this is gonna hurt. And so in here, you can see how I did it. These are just filters that end up coming through. So this was level 6, right? So I think that's everything. 8 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. Oh my god. So we had 10 blocks, so those get blocked, but we're gonna take 10 damage off of that, or we should take 10 damage off that. Let's see if my redstone works. And sure enough, 84, that is 10 damage. That hurts. So you can tell as you go deeper into this game, it becomes a lot more difficult. Stuff starts to hurt really bad, and just playing a couple blocks each turn is not going to cut it. You're going to have to either get a massive amount of block or kill the things a lot faster. Speaking of killing things faster, let's see what we can do here. So we should have, I think stuff is probably shuffling again. We should get an enchanted draw here, but we're going to want to play another Quick Thinking. This will give us more block again and draw. Burning Draw, this will give us even more draw, but burn our next card. We might need to do that if we don't get what we want out of here. So as it turns out, I had a glass block here blocking this water stream for testing, and some of my cards despawned. So we unfortunately cannot continue with this, but I think you can see it gets a lot more difficult the further you go, because my deck is not that strong. I'd say it's probably a mid-range deck, but it's going to get a lot more complicated the further you go, because let me tell you, the Ravager, whew, he hits like a truck. I think I will end it there though. I mean, this project started off as just a little tiny thing over there, just some small components. We drew out our chart and we went from things like this, tiny redstone systems, tiny shulker unloaders, card processors, and eventually into this mega behemoth that looks like the Windows 95 pipes logo. Did anyone even get that reference? Am I old? No, you're old. If you would like to see this thing built up in survival with custom card art, custom audio, all of that, including our maybe shop, metagame rewards, that sort of thing, be sure to subscribe, like the video, come back for more, because let me tell you, next episode, we are building this giant thing in survival and doing all of that card art and audio. So please come back for more. If you made it this far, I think you're probably interested. So I hope to see you next time. Don't forget to like the video, and I hope to catch you next time. Goodbye.